Hello everyone, welcome to SSC CMONK channel. Today in this lecture I will be discussing about every aspect of analytical reasoning. See, most of the students who could not score a very good marks in reasoning, whether it is a CGL examination or whether it is NTPC examination, that is because of they make silly mistakes in this particular chapter, and it is not their fault because no one has ever taught analytical reasoning in such a way that it will create a sort of framework in the student's mind, and the student should know exact what are the steps that should be followed to answer a particular question. And I am guaranteeing you, after watching this lecture, you will never ever face any issue in analytical reasoning, because in this particular lecture I will give you a framework how to approach each and every question. Then I will give you exact practice question. This is not PYQ question. You have PYQ question, you have been attempting in mocks, but these are really very good level of practice questions which will enable you to think and understand how to break a particular question, how to answer it. And in this lecture I will be discussing all these 5 topics: statement assumption, statement conclusion, statement inference, statement course of action, cause and effect. Now I will be giving you theoretical knowledge plus practical approach, but along with that you need more practices, right? Because this is a chapter which works on your conceptual clarity, your common sense, and the common sense that is required to answer each and every question with 100% accuracy comes from where? The practice, and with a different levels of questions. So for all of you, I have created this book. It is known as Analytical Reasoning. In this particular book, I have given you set of questions for each chapter from easy to moderate to very difficult, and all the varieties of languages are included in this particular book. And this book is completely free for all the aspirants who are preparing for NTPC and CGL. After you watch the lecture and understand how the theory works, what are the steps to follow to answer a certain question, then jump into the book. Do not jump into the book directly and answer it and start solving it, because if you start solving the book without understanding the theory, you will be in the same position you are now. Now let's start with today's topic. First thing, statement and assumption. See, I will give you the exact idea how to approach this particular types of questions. See, whenever a statement and assumption question will pop up in front of your eyes in the examination or in mocks, its idea is about to find out, identify what are the hidden beliefs or idea that statements depends on. And how you could do that? You have to always ensure that whatever the statement is given, it is true. First thing, you should not use your own logic. It is the questioner that has given the statement and it is true. That is what it is. And you will see whatever the assumptions are given, are these assumptions taken from this particular part or not? That's it. If you are able to understand this part of question and you understand how to approach it, then no one can stop you from scoring 100% marks from these particular questions. Now let's understand through an example. The example says what? It says you should carry an umbrella, it might rain. So this is the truth. You should carry an umbrella, it might rain. First assumption says an umbrella helps during rain. Second assumption said it never rains here. Now understand this. This assumption is what? This assumption is meaningful. This assumption depends on the statement. The whole statement depends on this assumption. Yes or no? Yes. But here in this assumption, it is unnecessary. This is not necessary. And this is extreme. You can't outrightly say that it never rains here. This is what? Extreme. So you will always reject, deject and eliminate the options or the assumption which are extreme, which are not necessary, and in which the statement does not depend on. if you are able to answer it, and if it ensure that this whole thing is contradicting this statement, if this whole thing is contradicting, how it is contradicting, it is saying it never rains here, but statement is all about it might rain, so it is directly contradicting. So whenever an assumption is contradicting the statement, you will eliminate that. Now this is what, this is a theoretical part. If I have to write it in a simpler term, you will select the option which has statement depends on the assumption and it is meaningful, plus it should not be unnecessary. If it is unnecessary, then it cannot be the assumption. Okay, now what is the exact step to identify and write option? See what I told you, whatever I will teach you, it has in the history of reasoning, no one has taught you this type of sequence in which you will understand, you will have a framework in your mind how to answer statement assumption questions logically without any error. So understand this framework. First thing is that you start with the statements, then you understand what this statement is all about. Once you got that, go to the assumptions. First thing is that what must be true for this statement to hold. This means what? Which assumption support the statement? Which assumption support the statement? So when you will go to the assumption part, you will first check that does this assumption support the statement. Like in this question, first assumption was an umbrella helps during rain, so this is supporting the statement. But the second assumption, it never rains here, it is unnecessary, it is contradicting that statement, so it does not support. So first thing we'll understand, does it support or not. Second, if this statement is removed, if this statement is not there, will that particular statement, if that assumption is not there, understand this, if the assumption is not there, will the statement be true, or will the statement be as 100% sure as the questioner has given, or the statement will fall apart? If your answer to the question is yes, like this question, an umbrella helps during rain, so if it is not there, then how would you establish that umbrella helps during rainy season or during rainy days? So it must ensure that, you must ensure that if that particular assumption is removed, then the statement won't hold true. Now if these two conditions are satisfied, that is my assumption, that is the current assumption. But if in any case the assumption is irrelevant or contradicting the statement, or very extreme which is not necessary, then that cannot be my assumption, and based on this logic you will be selecting the right assumption. Now I have given you theoretical gyan, right? Now it's time to understand how this theory will be implemented, how this theory will be implemented in reality. So we'll start with the question. Now first question, use hand sanitizer after touching public surfaces. So whenever you will be touching public surfaces, you have to use hand sanitizer. So first question, that public surfaces may carry harmful germs. So this is my assumption 1. So what is my first step? My first step is to check whether this assumption support the statement, or if it is removed, will the statements hold true or it will fall apart. Now first statement is public surfaces may carry harmful germs. Because public surfaces carry harmful germs, I need to use a hand sanitizer so that I can clean my hand. That means what? This assumption is actually supporting the statement. And if I remove this, if I say in public surfaces there is no harmful germs, then what is the purpose of having or using hand sanitizer? Because there is no germ. So that means if I remove this statement, then if I remove this assumption, then this statement won't hold true. That means it is also satisfying my second condition. That means the first option, the first assumption is right. Now second assumption, hand sanitizer kills germs. Now understand, if I am using hand sanitizer it should do some good work, otherwise it has no use. Now, first thing is that hand sanitizer is killing germs. That means it is supporting the statement that in public surfaces there are germs. If I use hand sanitizer, it will kill the germs. That means first thing is done. Now, second question. If I remove this part, hand sanitizer is killing the germ. So if hand sanitizer is not killing the germ, then what is the purpose of it? So if hand sanitizer is not killing the germ, that means the use of hand sanitizer is not at all required. That means what? This means if I am removing this statement, if I am removing this assumption, this particular statement will be false. Because if hand sanitizer is not killing germs, then there is no use of hand sanitizer. That means what? This is equally required for the statement, because this is creating the statement or making the statement valid, and this is ensuring that if it is removed, the statement won't be true. So what is our assumption? Assumption 1 is also right, assumption 2 is also right. That means both 1 and 2 are implicit. Okay, so what we did, we exactly checked whether this assumption support the statement, and if it is removed, will the statement be true or not. Clear? So whatever the framework I have given you, that is actually working in the question. Now let's try in the second question. The railway authority increased train frequency during office hours. Statement: railway authority has increased number of trains during office hours. Now, first assumption is that office goers use the train. So this is my first assumption. Now, if office going individuals are not using the train, that means there is no purpose of increasing number of trains. That means this particular assumption, if I am removing it, this statement will be false. So that means it is supporting the statement. Also, if I am removing it, it will ensure that this statement won't be true. That means this assumption is correct. Second, trains were overcrowded earlier. Now understand this. If trains are not overcrowded, as many people who are traveling, they are comfortably traveling in the number of trains that are currently available, then there is no need of increasing the number of trains. Yes or no? Yes. That means this particular statement is supporting this particular assumption is supporting the statement, because trains are overcrowded. That's why you have to increase the number of trains. And if I am removing this, that trains are not overcrowded, then there is no need of increasing the train frequency. That means whenever I am removing this, the statement is getting false. But my first rule is I have to always consider that the statement is right. So I am saying what? Option 1 is also right, option 2 is also right. That means both the options are implicit. Clear? Implicit means both the options are required to answer the question, or both the assumptions are true. Got it? Let's try one more question. Do not park vehicles in front of the gate. Now, first assumption is that parking in front of the gate may block entry or exit. Now see, this particular assumption is supporting the statement, because if there is no issue, why someone will say that do not park vehicles in front of my house? Because that person is having some trouble, and that trouble is it is blocking the entry and exit. That means this statement is supporting the statement. This assumption is supporting the statement. Plus, if I am removing this, if I say parking in front of the gates will not block entry and exit, that means there is no requirement of this statement. That means this statement is false, but this cannot be happen because statement is always true. That means if I am removing this statement, if I am removing this assumption, this statement is getting false. So this is also satisfying my second condition of true assumption. So option 1 is right. Now, second option, people park carelessly. Now, see, if people are not parking carelessly, if people are doing the right thing, then there is no need to give this sign. If I know I have to park my vehicle at a parking lot, not in front of someone's house, then there is no need of that house owner to post this particular thing in front of his house. That means what? People are parking carelessly. That's why this instruction has been given. That means what? This statement, this assumption is supporting the statement. Plus, if I say people are parking carefully, that means there is no need to post this in front of the gate. That means when I'm removing this statement, removing this assumption, this statement is getting false. That means it is also satisfying my second condition, that whenever I will be removing this assumption, the whole statement will be fall apart. So both assumption are working here. That means both 1 and 2 are implicit. Clear? Yes or no? Yes. One more question. Company launched an advertisement campaign to boost product sales. To boost product sales. Advertisement can influence buying decision. This is the first assumption. Second assumption is sales were lower than expected. Now understand. First thing is that company is launching advertisement campaign to boost product sale. This is my statement, and statement says advertisement campaigns are boosting the product sales, are boosting the sales. Now, first thing is that advertisement can influence buying decisions. That means when a customer sees an advertisement, it ensures that this is about the product, he can buy the product. So the advertisement make an influence or create some influence in the buying decision of that particular product. That means what? This assumption is supporting this statement because advertisement is helping in purchasing. Second, when I am removing this statement, that I am saying advertisement does not influence any decision, any buying decision. That means there is no need of advertisement, but we have to always take care that this statement is 100% true. That means advertisement is required to boost or increase the sales. That means if I am removing this assumption, this whole statement will be false. That means it is also satisfying my second condition, that if I am removing this assumption, the whole statement will fall apart. That's why this assumption is true. Clear? Now second, sales were lower than expected. See, due to lower sales, the company is trying to launch an advertisement, and because of that launch, the product sales will increase. That means sales were less. That's why this advertisement idea has come to the mind of the company. So this assumption is supporting the statement. Plus, if sales were high, there is no need of advertisement. That means when I am removing this assumption, this statement is getting false. That means it is satisfying my second condition. That means this assumption is also true. So option C, both 1 and 2 are implicit. Clear? So this is how you should be using the logic of understanding whether it is a right assumption or not, whether the assumption is supporting the statement, or when I am removing it, when I am negating the statement, negating the assumption, the statement is not getting true. So when you check this parameter, no questions will be there in the exam hall, in the mock, in which you will make any mistake. Okay, so with this logic, it is your homework to answer this particular question. Clear? I hope now no one has any doubt in statement and assumption. Now, once you complete the whole lecture, your job is to join the SSC MONK official Telegram channel, check the PDF and solve it twice with these logics. Clear? Yes or no? Yes. Next, statement and conclusion. Now understand, what is it about statement and conclusion? In statement and conclusion, your job is to find out which conclusion is logically following the given statement. Which conclusion is logically following? Logic means what? It is 100% following. It has nothing to do with the guess. Okay, so it should follow the conclusion. Now the trick is to understand that a conclusion must be directly supported by the statement. The statement should be supporting the conclusion. That is what it is required. Now let's understand the example. It is saying the government has decided to increase the tax on cigarettes. Government is increasing tax on cigarettes. Conclusion 1 is saying people will stop smoking. If government is increasing taxes, people will stop smoking. It has nothing to do with this statement, because it is not supporting the statement. If people will quit smoking, it is their individual choice. It has nothing to do with the statement. So this is not guaranteed that if I increase the tax, people will stop smoking. It is not guaranteed. Plus, it is a prediction. It is not logical. It is not factual. It is a prediction. But second statement, government wants to reduce cigarette consumption. See, why government is increasing tax? Because it wants to reduce cigarette consumption. This is what? This is a logical statement. And this is not very extreme. This statement was very extreme, but this is not extreme. This is very logical. This is purely derived from the statement, and the statement is supporting the conclusion. So what we need to do? So in simpler word, my conclusion will be clearly stated, 100% logical, and it should not be extreme. If in any case it is assumption, or it is emotional, or it is futuristic, I mean predictable, or it has extra knowledge that has nothing to do with the statement, then it cannot be my conclusion. This is what it is all about. Now, what are the steps to find the correct option? See, the first thing is that when you are reading the statement, read the conclusion and ask yourself, does that conclusion match or reverse the given statement or the given rule? If your answer is yes, that conclusion is following. If your answer is no, then you should not pick that particular conclusion. Now, with this logic, we'll be solving questions. So let's start. First question. It is saying all urban people prefer online shopping nowadays. So first thing is that I read the statement. Now I will be reading the conclusion. First conclusion is that online shopping is more popular in urban areas. Rural people do not shop online. Okay. Now what I should do? So my next step should be, does this match, does this conclusion match or reverse known rule? So first rule is what? Sir, first thing it is saying, online shopping is more popular in urban area. Now, is it matching? Yes, because all urban people prefer online shopping. That means this conclusion can be derived. Now, rural people do not shop online. Is it matching with it? No, because there is no information about rural people here. That means what? My second logic, it does not match with the given statement, so it cannot be my conclusion. So only conclusion 1 follows. Clear? We use the logic. See, at the very beginning I told you this. I will give you the exact framework. I will give you the exact stepwise methodology to ask yourself the right question to find out the right answer. And that's what you are witnessing in this particular question. Now let's try the same in the next question. The government has launched a free vaccination program for children. Government has launched what? Free vaccination program. That means conclusion 1 says all children will now be immune to disease. What it is saying? All children will now be immune to disease. Now in this statement, in this conclusion, what we are saying? Immunity to disease. Now, is there anything here about immunity in this particular statement? No. So there is no such things which is directly involved with the statement. That means it is not my conclusion. Very basic. Because the thumb rule is the conclusion should directly match the statement. And if it match, it will follow as the conclusion. Now the second, the government is taking care of public health. See, government is launching free vaccination program. Free vaccination program means what? Government cares about the public health. That means this conclusion is directly from what? The statement, and it is following the statement. This means only conclusion 2 follows. Conclusion 1 does not follow. Clear? Next. Due to heavy rainfall, the city was waterlogged for a week. Heavy rainfall, city is waterlogged. Now, statement 1 says the city lacks proper drainage. Now understand this. Because of there is improper drainage, the city is waterlogged. That means it is directly from the statement. That means this conclusion is true. Now, second, rainfall causes problems in all cities. Now understand this. Rainfall is causing problem in all cities. Does have in this particular statement, it does not have any sort of information about all the cities. That means this conclusion is not directly associated or attached with the statement. That means this cannot be my conclusion. So my right answer will be only conclusion 1 follows. Clear? See, whatever the questions I am solving and whatever the questions I have given in the book, it will only be answered through these steps. And if you follow these steps, you will always answer with 100% accuracy from these chapters. That is my guarantee, and that's why I say no one has ever taught analytical reasoning in the history of YouTube like this. Next, many people are moving to metro cities for jobs. This is the statement that people are moving to metro cities because of jobs. Now, first conclusion, metro cities offer more job opportunities. Yes. So, metro cities is offering more jobs. That's why people are moving. That means this statement is directly associated, directly attached with the statement. So, this is my first conclusion is right. Second conclusion, rural areas are completely jobless. It has nothing to do with the rural area. So, this statement is not directly attached, so this cannot be my conclusion. So option A is my conclusion. Clear? Next. Every school must have trained counselors. Every school should have what? Trained counselor. This is my statement. My conclusion is what? Mental health in students is now considered important. Second, schools are only places to treat mental illness. Now understand. Is this conclusion has any attachment here? No, because it is very extreme. It is saying only place to treat mental illness. So this cannot be my conclusion. Now, mental health in students is now considered important. Because of this, the school is what? Appointing trained counselors. That means this conclusion is directly attached with the statements. So this is my right conclusion. So option 1, only conclusion 1 follows the statement. Clear? Yes or no? See, what I told you in this particular stepwise methodology to answer the question, you witness the same. That through this particular methodology, if I ask the conclusion whether it is directly matching the statement or not, I am getting my answer. So this way you should be answering all the question that I have given in the book and also in your mocks. Clear? Now, next thing, statement inference. See, whenever you are encountering statement inference question, your job or your main role is to identify whether this inference is indirectly suggested through the statement. It is an indirect, you can say, statement of whatever is given in the statement. And how to do that? Inference should not be clearly stated in the subject statement. That means whatever is given in the statement, it should not, that given assumptions, that given inference should not be part of the statement. Part of the statement means, let's say I say here in the examination example, many flights were cancelled due to dense fog. So here, if in the inference it is written flights to Abu Dhabi are cancelled, that means what? It is directly saying that flights are cancelled due to dense fog. That means it should not be directly associated with the statement. It should be indirect. Then we can take it as an inference. It is always indirect. It should not be direct. So now in this question, It is saying many flights are cancelled due to dense fog. First inference, fog causes low visibility. See, because fog causes low visibility, we are doing what? We are cancelling the flights. That means what? That means the inference is actually true. Because of that, we are cancelling the flights. So this is implied. But second inference, what it is saying? Flights are not safe in fog. Yes. If if flight is taking off and it is moving during the fog season, or it is foggy, then it will have low visibility and it may cause accidents. That means this is also true, and this has nothing to do directly with the statement, and we are deriving this from the statement. That means if my inference is logical and can be derived indirectly, then it will be my right option. But if it is very vague, it has nothing to do with the statement. If this is very broad, I mean extreme, or if it is opinion based, then this cannot be my what? Then this cannot be my right inference. Now, what is the logic about it? So, what are the steps? First, you will read the statement carefully. Then, you will check for the keywords or what is the tone. Like in this question, it is cancelled due to dense fog. Dense fog. That means it is heavy fog. Now, look for logical connection. That here what we looked. Dense fog causes issue of visibility and it is not safe. So these are what? Logical connection, and also these are possibility. So we are now evaluating the options. Yes, option 1 is 100% following with logical connection and possible inference. That's why it is my valid inference. If the options are not logical, if the options are not possible, it cannot be my valid inference. So with this logic, with this step, we'll be starting with the questions. So first question, the company announced hike in salary for all junior level employees. This is my statement. So what is my inference? Company wants to boost the morale of junior staff. Second inference, senior level employees are unhappy with the decisions. Now, in the second option, does senior level employees have anything to do with this? No. That means it cannot be logically driven. It is very broad. It is very vague. We are taking it to the extreme. That senior level employees. It has nothing to do with senior level employees. It has only thing to do with the junior level employees. So it cannot be my inference. Now, first inference is what? The company wants to boost the morale of junior staff. Yes, this inference is actually true. So option 1 is only true, not option 2. What we did? We go through this. First option is logical. Yes. Second option is a possible inference. Yes. So it is the right option. But in the second, it has no logic and it is not possible because there is nothing mentioned about senior level employees in the statement. So it cannot be my right inference. So this is how, from the exact stepwise method, we are answering the question, and you will be doing the same in the mock test, in the real examination, and in your practice book. Second question, the forest department has decided to plant 1 lakh trees this year. The forest department decided to plant 1 lakh trees this year. First inference is that forest cover in the area has reduced. Second inference is that the department is committed to improving the environment. As the forest cover was reduced, the forest department is planting 1 lakh trees. That means this is logically derived from this particular statement, and this holds true. So this is my right inference. Now the second inference, the department is committed to improving the environment. See, as the department is deciding to plant 1 lakh trees, and 1 lakh tree will improve the environment. So this is logically driven and it is not extreme, and it is also the right possibility. That means option 2 or inference 2 is also true in case of this statement. That means option C is my right answer, that both of inference 1 and 2 are correct. Clear? So we will be always checking this. We'll be check whether the given inference are logical and whether these are the possible inferences. That's all about the finding right inferences from the statement. Now, third question. Mobile phones are not allowed inside the examination hall. Now, first inference is what? Students may misuse mobile phones during the examination. Exactly. Because the mobile phones, because in examination hall, mobile phone will make unnecessary trouble. That's why they are not allowed. So it is logically driven. And it is the possibility that when students are using mobile phone, they may misuse the mobile phone. That means this is my right inference. Now, second, mobile phones can help students concentrate better. Now see, mobile phone is helping student concentrating better. This statement has nothing to do with this. This inference has nothing to do with what? The statement. And it cannot be logically driven. And if it is logical, then the statement will be false. So we cannot take this as the inference because the statement is always 100% correct. So this cannot be my inference. So only inference 1 is true. Clear? Same logic we are using. Possibility and whether can it be derived from the given statement. Now, question number 4. The government has reduced GST rates for small businesses. Now, inference 1 is saying the move is intended to support small business. Absolutely right. Because by reducing GST rates for smaller business, it helps them in terms of revenue. So this is logically different or this is right. Now, large businesses will now pay more GST. Is there anything about paying more GST of large business? No. That means this inference cannot be logically driven from the statement. That means what? This is not the right inference. That means option A, only inference 1 is true. This is how, by using these two logics, we are answering each and everything. Whether there is a logical connection and whether it can be a possible inference. Are you getting my point? So see how the inferences steps are really useful in answering the questions. And with the same, you will be answering this question I am giving you as this homework. Clear? So till now, we have completed 3 chapters: statement assumption, statement inference, statement conclusion. Now our 4th chapter, course of action. And see what I promise you in the beginning of this class, that I will give you the trick, the steps that no one has ever told you, gave you in answering analytical reasoning question, and you are seeing, you are witnessing the same. And I am telling you, if you practice the book twice at least before your examination, you will be able to answer 100%, answer the questions with 100% accuracy. That is my guarantee to all of you. So now let's start with the course of action. See, in course of action, first thing is to that action. Course of action means what? What are the actual steps should be taken to respond the problem or to solve the problem. This is about course of action. So whenever you are solving or approaching course of action questions, your job is to do what? Your job is to ensure that whatever the course of action you are taking, this is practical, this is relevant, this is effective, and this is ethical. Now, for this, I have a theory or I have a formula which is known as PEER formula. PEER means what? Practical, E means effective, E means ethical, R means relevant. So in course of action, whenever you will be approaching the actions, it should be fall under PEER formula: practical, effective, ethical, and relevant. Clear? Now let's see this example. Increase in road accidents due to drunk driving. Due to drunk driving. Now understand, drunk driving is causing accidents. Now, first action is that ban all liquor shops. Now see, is this practical? No, because this is too extreme. This cannot be practical. By banning liquor shop, it won't solve the problem. Second, strictly fine and jail drunk drivers. This is logical. This is practical. This is relevant, and this is effective and also ethical. Because with this, those who are drinking, they might have some fear, and that's why this course of action should be taken, not the action one. That means whenever I am finding out course of action, in shorter version I am writing a COA. It should be what? It should not be extreme, and it should be practical, effective, ethical, and relevant. Clear? With this, we can answer all sorts of course and action questions. Now see, what should be my steps? First step is I will read the problem. I will understand what is the core problem of the statement. Like this. In this, it was that increase in road accident. This is the core problem because of drunk driving. So I understood the core problem. Now I am analyzing the options. First option is ban all liquor shop. Second option is strictly fine and jail drunk drivers. So now I'll see, is this practical and directly related? If yes, if the option is yes, the next thing I will check, does that option directly address the problem or not? Whatever is given in the course of action, is it addressing that particular thing? Yes. If it says, is this practical in nature? If my answer is yes. If I say, if there is no assumptions associated with this, I am not assuming something, it is relevant and practical. If all the answers to these questions are yes, then that will be my answer. If when I am analyzing the options, if this is not practical or direct, then I will say it is not practical, so I will reject that course of action. So with this flow chart, with these steps, you will be answering the question. Let's see how. So our first question, a rise in road accidents due to rash driving of teenagers has been reported. That means what? That means teenagers are doing rash driving and it is causing road accidents. We are clear about it now. Actions. Authorities should strictly enforce traffic rules and punish offenders. This is logical. This is directly driven from this statement, and this seems correct, and this seems ethical and relevant. So action 1 is right. Second action, ban teenagers from using vehicles completely. See, this is extreme. This is not logical. This is not relevant, and this is not practical. So action 2 cannot be my right answer. So only action 1 follows. Clear what I did? I approach this, that options are practical, directly related. Now, is it addressing the problem? Yes. It is practical? Yes. It is not assumptuous? Yes. Then I am selecting the first option. In the second option, it is my assumption that if I ban, it will solve the problem, and it is impractical. That's why it cannot be my right action. Clear? Next. Statement 1. Many students have failed in board exams due to sudden change in syllabus. Okay. So board exams, if it changes the syllabus, many students fail. Clear? Now it is saying the board should reconduct the exam with old syllabus. The board should give grace marks to students affected by the change. These are the course of action. Now, what is my next step? Next step is that to check whether this is practically possible or not, whether this is relevant or not, whether this seems right or not. Now, many students have failed in board exam due to sudden change in syllabus. Being a student, you will always say, sir, this is the right thing to change the syllabus, get back to old style and reconduct the examination. See, reconducting the examination will take a lot of time, and this is not practical. This is not practical because whatever is given in the statement, we have to take that it is 100% true. Because of that, because it has been a sudden change in the syllabus and students have failed, and this seems impractical, so this cannot be my course of action. But let's check out action 2. Board should give grace marks to students affected by the change. Now in this particular course of action, it is seems practical. Yes, grace marks should be given because of the change in syllabus, and it will ensure that students are not affected by getting grace marks, so students will pass. So this seems what? This seems the right set of course of action, and because of that action 2 will follow. Clear? Yes or no? Yes. Next, many people are dying every year. Many people are dying every year due to lack of access to clean drinking water. Due to less drinking water, clean drinking water, many people are dying. This is my what? This is my statement. My actions are what? Government should install water purifiers in all public places. This action is directly associated with it. This is practical, this is ethical, and this seems right. Because of this, death will be prevented. Now second, awareness campaigns on water hygiene should be conducted. By conducting awareness campaign on water hygiene, people will understand that why it is important to drink clean water. So this is a practical approach, and with this we can avoid the death of many people. So this seems this course of action should be taken, and this course of action should be taken, and both these course of actions are not extreme. That means both the action can be taken. So option C is my right option, that both follows. Clear? Sorted? Next, unemployment among educated youth is rising rapidly. Unemployment in educated youth is rising rapidly. Action, government should launch large scale skill development programs. Second action, increase the number of government jobs in all departments. Now, being a student, you will say, sir, option 2 or action 2 should be right, but it's not right. Why? Jobs means what? You need to do a certain thing or certain task. If there is no task, there is no requirement of that many people to complete a certain task, there is no need of increasing the government jobs. This means this is not practical. See, you will, as a student in this particular question, you will use your emotion, but here we are not here to use our emotions. We are here to use our logic. This is impractical. This has nothing to do with the addressing the right issue, that is unemployment. Now, this first action, government should launch large scale skill development program. If the youth are highly skilled, then they will be fit for what? Various jobs, and that unemployment will be addressed. So this option, this action is logical, this action is practical, and this fits the actual problem that is stated in this particular statement. That means option 1, only action 1 is the right option for this particular question. Clear? Here you should not be emotional. You should be direct about the given statement, and it should be practical. It should not be extreme. Okay? Now, question 5. Online frauds and cybercrime cases are increasing rapidly. We are seeing that so many online frauds are happening, cyber crimes are happening. What should be the action? Ban all digital transaction and promote cash usage. Second action, strengthen cyber laws and educate people about online safety. Now see, first action is very extreme, so this cannot be my right action, course of action. So this is gone. Second, strengthen cyber laws and educate people about online safety. This is practical. This is directly associated with the statement. This seems ethical. So only option 2 is the right answer. So option B, only action 2 follows, is my right answer. See, in all these questions, what we did, we see whether this is practical or direct, and whether it is directly addressing the problem, practical or not, or if it is not assuming anything. And based on that, we answer all the questions. And the same way, you should be answering all these questions. Clear? See, The job is not to be too emotional. The job is to understand whatever it is given, how I should approach this thing, how I should understand what is right and what is wrong, and I should follow the stepwise flow. That's it. I should not bring something out of my own mind. Clear? Now, cause and effect, the last chapter of this analytical reasoning. Very simple. In cause and effect question, whatever the statements are given, you need to ensure that one cause the other. Because of the cause, the effect is happening. Or if both effects, both the statements are pertaining to the same cause or they are not related. Okay. Now, how would you define what is cause? Cause means what? Why something is happening. That is the reason. Effect means what? Effect means because of that cause, this happened. This is the outcome. This is the end result. Cause is the reason, effect is the outcome. Clear? Now, how to approach or how to solve the question? First thing is that you should read the question and understand. And ask yourself, can one statement logically lead to another? Statement 1 is leading to statement 2 or not? Now, out of these two statements, which statement is happened for the first time? If it is happened for the first time, then that is the cause. Whichever is happened first, that is the cause. Okay, because of that effect is happening. Now, what you need to do? You need to check the keywords like because, so, due to, as a result, leads to, therefore. Now, you will be checking the time rule that I have already said. Cause will always come first before the effect. So in the given statements, you need to see which statement happened first. Now, you will be using the reverse step. Reverse test means what? Let's say you got the idea by reading that statement 1 came first, but statement 2 came later. But you need to cross verify. You need to check if statement 2 comes first, will statement 1 happen? If it happen, then your assumption in the first place is that assumption 1 is right, 1 is the first, that is my cause, and 2 is my effect. That will be wrong, because due to statement 2, statement 1 is happening. That means the right answer is statement 2 is the cause and statement 1 is the effect. See, this may seems a bit confusing now, but you need to understand that whenever two statements are given, you need to look at it in both way. First statement is cause, second is effect. Then in the second instance, second statement is the cause, first statement is the effect. And you need to ensure that one option is being eliminated. And that's how you will be answering the options. And you will never ever take external assumptions, and it should not be extreme. Clear? So with these steps, we'll be solving the questions. So first question. People are shifting to electric vehicles. Fuel prices have increased rapidly in the last year. Now see, fuel prices has increased rapidly. This is what? This is the cause. Because of that, people are shifting to electric vehicles. So statement 2 is my cause and statement 1 is my effect. This is my first understanding. Yes or no? Yes. Now if I say people are shifting to electric vehicles, this is my cause, and because of that fuel prices are increased. Effect means what? That is the outcome. So if more people are using electric vehicles, fuel price will be increased. Is it making any sense? No. That means the first statement can never be the cause. It is the effect. That means in options, statement 2 is the cause and statement 1 is the effect. See, I told you, in reverse test, we need to ensure that whether the statement 1 is the effect or not, or cause or not. Clear? So this is how I implemented in this particular question, and you realize, you witnessed that yes, this is how it works. Clear? Next question. There has been rise in online fraud case. Many people are unaware of basic cyber security practices. Now, people are unaware of basic cyber security practices. That is why online frauds are happening. If people knows what is right and what is wrong, what not to share, then fraud won't happen. That means option 2 is my cause and option 1 is my effect. This is my first assumption or first understanding. Now, if I say online frauds are happening and because of that people are unaware, is it making any sense? That means if this is the cause, this cannot be the effect. That is why option B is the right answer. That is statement 2 is my cause and statement 1 is my effect. Clear? Next. The school declared holidays due to heavy rains. City roads were waterlogged because of poor drainage. Now see, the school is declared holiday due to heavy rain. So heavy rain was happening. School was declared holidays. In statement 2, it is saying city roads are waterlogged because of poor drainage. Now in these two statements, is there any relation? There is no relation. But city roads are waterlogged because of poor drainage. That means this is what? This is one effect. Cause, anything can be the cause, but this is an effect. Schools are declared holiday due to heavy rains. This means what? This is also effect of heavy rains. That means in this particular question, these are both independent effects. This is effects. So option C is the right answer. Clear? Sorted? Next. Government banned single-use plastics. Pollution due to plastic waste is increasing alarmingly. Now, understand this. Plastic waste is causing pollution and it is increasing very high. That's why government is banning single-use of plastic. That means option 2 is my cause and option 1 is my effect. So, if I say it reversely, that government is banning single-use plastic and because of that pollution due to plastic waste is increasing, it won't make any sense. That means option B is the right answer. That is, pollution is happening due to plastic waste and because of that government has decided to ban the single-use plastics. That means cause is second and first option is the effect. Clear? Now, last question of the lecture, and it is saying that the candidate failed the exam. The candidate did not prepare well for the examination. Now let's see here. It is your live example. It is your reality. If you do not prepare well, if you do not watch the lecture completely, if after watching the lecture, if you are not solving the question book properly, if you are not practicing twice, if you are not attempting the mocks, if you are not disciplined, you are ready to fail. That means this option is my cause, this is my effect. So option B is my right answer. And with this, we have completed the whole analytical reasoning, and in each types of chapter I have given you the right steps to understand, to approach the questions. How you can see the steps that has been derived, and I am guaranteeing you no one has ever taught analytical reasoning like this in the YouTube in any classes. Okay, so your job is to understand the steps and watch the lecture, understand everything, and then jump into the book that will be shared in the Telegram channel SSC MONK official at 4 p.m. today. So whatever you are doing, stop it and start solving the questions after watching the video. See you in the next class.